Greetings, Moonlight citizens. This is your Moonlight King here, the man on the moon on Moonlight Kingdom Podcast 49, where we are discussing Donald Trump, Elon Musk, salutes, and a whole bunch of other political nonsense over there on the United States of A. Let's get into it, folks. I don't really like doing politics, but I'll try to dive into it. I'm not alone in this. Thankfully, I'm joined by a friend as we dive into this political quagmire. Let's go. 3, 2, who gives
People that said, surely he didn't know what he was doing. Surely he didn't mean his little thing. Surely that's not, surely this isn't, what we think it is. Surely this isn't that fascist shit, right? Surely that's not, yes, it is. He did it twice. He did it to the audience, then he turned around and he did it to the people behind him. He did it twice. He knew what he was doing. He wasn't trying to dab. He wasn't trying to wave. He wasn't trying to do any of that. He knew exactly what he was doing. He did it twice. And he even, put that effort in. He was like, straighten that arm out and shit. So, yeah. And to try and spin that shit into anything else, that's just, that is 100% saying, yeah, you people are stupid and will believe that. And it doesn't help that some people are believing that shit. It says here in this article by The Guardian, Musk did not immediately comment, though he did repost the footage. And that included a second salute and endorsed the memes seeking to turn footage into jokes. One X-user, X formerly known as Twitter, one user on X stated, can we please retire the calling people a Yahtzee thing? To which Musk responded, yeah, exactly, and added a yawning emoji. It's like, you making jokes? I remember there was a time when someone even alluding that you were associated with that kind of thing, that would be the end of your career. If you were even lightly associated with that kind of shit, that's your job. That's your ass right there. You're out of a job. You're publicly shunned. That would be the end of it. But now, it's nothing. I mean, granted, it's world news and he's a billionaire. What really can be done about it? But still, that used to be the end of it. People would just hide their heads in shame if they got outed at this kind of stuff. JFK's dad. Yeah, JFK's dad. I don't know his name. Well, I know two things about him. Well, three. One, he was kind of a dick. Two, he came up with a way of getting rich through manipulating the stock market. A very illegal way of getting rich through manipulating the stock market. And then once he got really, really rich, he told his buddies at Wall Street all about this so that no one else could get rich this exact same way. He basically closed the loophole that he himself created so no one else could exploit it but him. Anywho, and the third thing was that he was found out to be a sympathizer for let's call him the red and black during the 40s. So, yeah, any chances of a political career, especially back then, yeah, that was over. He really wanted to be president, and that was never going to happen now that was out. Any political job he might have had with that association tied on him, it was like a scarlet letter that you had to wear everywhere. You couldn't, I don't know, you could never get any office. You couldn't run for mayor of fucking bumfuck nowhere if that shit was on you. But the fact that Elon Musk did that shit, and then try to play it off as something as, oh, that's not what it was. That's not what that was. Oh, it's not some fascism. It's not anything. I can just do that. It shows that level of arrogance to be like, I can do anything and y'all will let me slide on it. It's like Kanye West when he said, I can say anti-Semitic things and my sponsorships won't drop me. Yeah, they dropped him immediately, but unfortunately, he's back in the limelight now because it's this thing of if you have enough money, you can basically wait out any old cancellation. You can just wait until the heat dies down and then you'll be, once the heat's gone down, everything will be cool. That'll be the end of it, Yeah. The anti-defamation... Oh, wait, there's more here from The Guardian. Nonetheless, Haaretz, an Israeli newspaper, described Musk delivering a, quote-unquote, Roman salute as a fascist salute that is commonly associated with Nazi Germany. So yeah, it's not even just people in the U.S. that are calling this out. People in other countries be looking at this shit too, and the Anti-Defamation League is trying to sweep this up and say, well, this wasn't exactly, a part of that. This wasn't exactly a salute like with the red and black, because the red and black brigade in the 40s, they would yell, Heil evil mustache man, or the, Sieg Heil or some shit. And, but you can't really say just because he didn't say that second part that that's not what it is. It is still what it is. The article even is like, it is the most common white supremacist hand sign in the world. So you can't say he didn't know what it is. And like Coleman said earlier in the thing when I started here, the man runs a multi-billion-dollar company that is in charge of launching rockets into space. You can't say he is smart enough to do that, but not smart enough to know what this shit is. But not smart enough to know this is fucked up, to not understand what this is. And this whole thing of, oh, no. Before it was a Yahtzee symbol, it was a Roman thing. That's what I was making it. That's what I was doing. It's not that anymore. It hasn't been that for a long time. We see through that bullshit. We ain't fucking stupid. The fact that you thought you could just say that implies very heavily you thought you could just say that and that would sweep everything up, because you think deep down Americans are fucking dumb. And it doesn't help that he has actively stated that before. Like when it came to American education, it's just like, that was the biggest thing that I noticed. Like, holy soap. The guy thinks Americans are so stupid they can't do the jobs that, well, they can't do American jobs. What is it with Donald Trump and his associates and jobs? Like, I remember before he became president, he was talking about they're taking black jobs. Like, but he never actually specified what is a black job. Like, I feel like if someone did ask him, hey, Agent Orange, what is a black job exactly? You're talking about people coming from other countries and taking black jobs. What exactly do you consider a black job? If your actions are anything to go by, it's working at a fast food joint, flipping burgers and handing out fries. The dude literally put the fries in the bag. Like, hot damn. It would have been perfect had he lost, because the dude, we could have said, like, man literally put the fries in the bag for his own damn self. But then he won, so like, lost out on a good analogy. And maybe, just maybe, a solid candidate running the show. But hey, at this point, people have to buck down and, keep going as much as they can. It's going to be a long 4 years. But that's neither here nor there. That ain't why I'm here. Yes, folks, the government thinks you're stupid. Running to this article from The Guardian. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, a Democratic congresswoman, blasted the Anti-Defamation League and saying, just to be clear, you are defending a Hitler salute performed and repeated for emphasis and clarity. People can officially stop listening to you as any sort of reputable source of information now. You work for them. Thank you for making that crystal clear to all. Yeah, as angry as this message might be, she's not wrong. Yeah, if there was ever a sign that you work for the bad guys, it's when you try to defend something that is clearly horrendous. And Musk, the old muskrat responded to this. Keep in mind, he responded to memes, he's responded to jokes, he's responded to this woman, but at no point since he's done that has he said, I didn't mean to do that, or I'm sorry if I offended anybody. That hasn't happened yet. What has happened is him reacting to people on social media, saying shit. And to Congresswoman Cortez, he responded that this woman has reached stage 5 of Trump derangement syndrome. She is fully unhinged. Like, just, wow, man, you're the head of the Department of Government Efficiency, and you have the freaking, I don't know, you have this social media decorum of a random troll from 2010. Like, this is disappointing. I expect more from the head of government efficiency. Whatever the hell that is, by the way. Ugh. Article goes on to state, Musk's engagement with and support for the global far-right continues to prove controversial. Earlier this month, he hosted Alex Waddell, the leader of the Electronic für Deutschland, which is a far-right German party. Ugh. Okay, so he's active. You can't say that, oh no, I'm not a Yahtzee. I'm not doing Yahtzee symbols. And then be hosting fucking people who... What the hell? You actively agree that... Oh, for heaven's sake. I can't read the rest of this without getting shit canned, but it's pretty bad. You can't... You know it's bad when even actual neo-Yahtzees are saying, yep, that's what that was. That was in fact a Yahtzee salute he did. And a dude on Telegram said, I don't care. A leader of a neo-Yahtzee group called the Blood Tribe said, I don't care if this was a mistake. I'm going to enjoy the tears over it. Another man by the name of Andrew Torba, a founder of G.E, which is a social media platform, a very far-right social media platform, stated, incredible things are happening already. You have actual Yahtzees that are giving the green light to your bullshit. You can't sit there and say, oh, I'm not one of them. Like, I'm not doing what they be doing. Oh, I'm not the bad guy. You got actual bad guys saying, yeah, you are, man. Keep up the good work. Ooh, incredible things are happening already. Like, fuck's sake, man. And to just try to even attempt to try to convince people that, well, what you saw and what you know is happening isn't actually what's happening. Here's what's really happening. You see, there's more to it than that. You know, this is a very 4D chess type situation. You see, y'all just aren't bright enough to comprehend fully what is happening right here, you know? You know, there's more to it than that. This isn't, at first glance, what you think it is. That's very stupid of you. Here's what it actually is, and there's people out here being like, oh, so it wasn't that. It wasn't what we thought it was. People are like, you're treating this with this aw shucks mentality of, oh, Elon, what a character that Elon is, and his ever educational gestures and shit. What a guy. I don't think a dude should be in charge of governmental efficiency who never finished school. I mean, he did, finish school, but a guy who quit school shouldn't have anything to say on the American education system. Because for those who didn't know, way back in 1995, yeah, the dude worked in the U.S. and, his visa expired and he stayed there illegally after quitting school. So, the dude quit school and stayed in the U.S. for a period of time in 1995 and just continued to stay here working on his company, which he then sold for about $300 million 4 years later. This is in an article by The Guardian. Well, The Guardian just loves them some Elon, huh? This is information taken from The Post. The Post said that while overstaying your student visa is somewhat common, officials have at times turned a blind eye to it. It's still illegal. It is very much still illegal. You can still get busted for that and do time and shit. So, it's still a crime. But unfortunately, the statute of limitations on such things has long since gone up. So a dude who skirts the law that easily and is just but expects others to stand by it as steadfastly as, ordinary citizens should, that says a lot about this person's character. So, yeah, the people in the comment don't think you're bright enough to know that shit. But anyway. Yeah, Michael Keaton has an vision on such things in terms of, the government. Here's something that Michael Keaton said, a couple years back, before all this happened. And it really foreshadowed what came in terms of, the government thinks you're stupid. And before I get into that, I just want to point out something. At this inauguration, it was indoors. All of Trump's billionaire buddies, fucking tech moguls, business guys, politicians, all those people were inside. Where were the people who voted for him? Outside in the cold. I want you to let that sink in. I want you to really let that sink in. All his buddies, his billionaires and tech people and politicians and all that were inside. And everybody who voted for him, everybody who actually put him in that chair, they were on the outside in the cold. Let that sink in. Now here's what Michael Keaton said in relation to old Agent Orange and the Muskrat himself. They don't really respect you. They laugh at you behind your back. They think you're stupid. They don't want to hang out with you. They have nothing in common with you. They're not your bros. Yeah. It's basically what he's saying is, like, this was delivered back in, like, I think 2022. So it says a lot. Even back then, it's like the signs were there that there's more to this than what you think. So his message is about that the idea that Agent Orange and his buddies are just like you, that's bullshit. Don't fall for that. They are not just like you. You do not have fucking 8 zeros in your bank account. You don't have billions upon billions of, assets tied up in shit. You don't be going to the same restaurants and businesses that they do. They are not like you. They are not your friends. And the fact that they try to sell people on that shows that, like, we can say just about anything and these people believe it. Because people do. People do believe that the idea that, Agent Orange over here is a hero for the working man. The commander in Cheetos is going to help out, the middle class guy. It's fucking, it would be hilarious if it wasn't so damn tragic. Damn. But yeah. So Keaton continues to say, basically, what they're saying in parenthesis is, these people are so stupid, they're so dumb that they'd still vote for me. In terms of, this was in relation to a time that old Agent Orange over there said that he could blast somebody on Fifth Avenue and he wouldn't lose any voters. Like, he could take out a hand cannon and blast someone on Fifth Avenue and wouldn't lose any votes doing that. I mean, I want to say he's wrong. I want to say that that's not the case. I really do. But given everything that's happened, everything that's been done, and how many people who are still hung on, not only hung on, but how many more people have jumped on, given everything that happened in the past, everything that was said, everything that was done, and people still be riding with this? I'm like, I have to believe that, yeah, he probably could. Dude probably could just straight up pull out a hand cannon and blast a random dude in the middle of town and not lose a single vote. If anything, he might gain voters, depending on who he blasted. But yeah, they have no respect for you. It's just, they don't respect the people who vote for them. When was the last time your government reflected you and properly represented you as the individual? When was the last time the middle class could say, yeah, that's our guy up there. He's fighting for us. He's working with us to solve our problems. Bro up here promised us on day one he's going to do this, that, and the third. And by golly, he did it. He's a real hero. Working for the common man. Oh yeah, a blue-collar working man. In clothes that probably cost more than one makes in a year. Oh yeah. Sure, that's fucking genius. But moving on to sticking to the whole, oh yeah, things people said, well, shit that he said he would do versus what he actually did. Here's some of the shit that he said he would do on day one, on first days. There were so many things that he promised he'd do on day one. I figured he's not going to do any of this shit. Some of this. In relation to TikTok, he promised he would sign an executive order on Inauguration Day to delay the ban. In regards to immigration, he wanted to kick off mass deportations of undocumented immigrants, birthright citizenship. He vowed to end that shit, meaning anyone born in the U.S. does not automatically gain citizenship if he has it his way. Tariffs, and he promised to impose steep tariffs on imported good from other countries. In regards to climate change, he vowed to pull the U.S. out of the Paris Climate Agreement. In electric vehicles, he wanted to get rid of what he called, well, what the Biden team, oh, he calls the Biden administration's electric vehicle mandate. Hey, Hero, what's up? Thanks for joining the chat. We on the talking about the things that old Agent Orange promised that he would do on day one. Well, on education. Yeah, he said in regards to education that he wants to stop any schools from getting federal funding that teach critical race theory. Tesla makes electrica, so exactly right there. Conflict of interest. Oh, he gonna have something to say when that one comes along. Now it is kind of wild he'd go against his buddy, yes. See, this is the stuff he promised he would do. We're going to get to the stuff he actually did, but this is the stuff he promised he would do. He said, day one, I'm going to do all this shit. Like, pardon the January 6th people. Reissue an executive order that makes it easier to fire civil servants. He's going to, rescind Joe Biden's executive orders that imposed guardrails on the use of AI. He's going to put out an executive order that's going to undo Biden's executive orders, which is pretty strange considering you already have another order that's like, yeah, I'm going to undo one of this guy's executive order, and then I'm going to put on another executive order that undoes the rest of them. Now, here's what he actually did. It is very strange. Like, one would think at some point when he announced, like, yeah, I'm going to crack down on electric cars and all that shit, that old Musk, right, would have tapped him on the shoulder and say, hey, I make electric cars too, right? I'm kind of the main guy. I'm kind of the last word on electric cars. So if you're going to crack down on them, that's really going to like burn a hole in my pocket. So, man, well, yeah, but, oil and gas pay me more money. So who gives a Now, here's the stuff he actually did day one. An executive order receding the previous executive orders. Makes sense? Granted, he didn't do that other one. He put out an executive order on freedom of speech, which involves the ending of federal censorship, as he called it, restoring free speech and doing that. An executive order on weaponization of government. It's also funny how Elon is against his DEI, but then American people aren't qualified enough. Exactly! That's the thing right there. The government thinks you're stupid. The government thinks... Elon Musk thinks Americans are too stupid to do their fucking jobs. That's why he's bringing in people. I can't believe they weren't kidding about Doge. Yep. I didn't want to believe it. I just didn't want to believe it until I saw it. Like, wait a minute. You actually put it in one of your executive orders to actually set up Doge? Did you really? You were serious about that? That is the wildest part. Like, governmental efficiency. What does that even mean? What do you plan on doing? And so, even if you were gonna, set up this Department of Governmental Efficiency, why this guy? Why this guy? Why is this department run by this guy of all people? But yeah. They're actively making a joke of the government and no one is doing anything. Yes, they are of the opinion that the government isn't doing its job effectively enough, so we need to establish a second department to make sure that the government starts, actively doing what it's supposed to be doing. Which is insulting as fuck. Continued what he actually did, a memorandum ending remote work. Yeah, it's going to force people to return to in-person work. Yeah, returning to in-person work. A memorandum that limits new regulations. A memorandum stopping federal hiring. And a memorandum on emergency price relief. Okay, he did say he'd do that. But, like most of this shit, no specific measures were outlined, though the memorandum calls on the assistant to the president for economic policy to report every 30 days on the status of implementation. Though he didn't give any... Most of these things... That's what I love about most of these executive orders. Most of these things are like, yeah, I'm going to issue an executive order on this, and this. Okay, but how? That's not important right now. I haven't figured out how, but we're definitely gonna do it. Oh, shit. Yep, it's a clown show. Oh, we were laughed at before. Yeah, doesn't help that they pulled out from Paris to summits and all that. They pulled out from working on climate change and everything. Oh yeah, withdrew the U.S. from the World Health Organization, suspended refugee resettlements, and redefined birthright citizenship. That's what he called it in his executive order, redefined birthright citizenship. Oh yeah, another executive order to secure the U.S.-Mexico border because, uh, him and that wall. I forgot. Full disclosure, folks, I forgot about the wall. I forgot the wall was even a thing. I just remember all the brouhaha when he announced it. Like, yeah, it's gonna be like what 15 feet tall and 5 feet deep. It's gonna be solar powered and bulletproof and see through and come again. I laughed when he said solar powered. I'm like, wait, why is the wall solar powered? Like, why? It's a wall. Okay, okay. Moving on. Shit. Yeah. Ordered to tighten immigration laws and restrict federal funds for sanctuary cities. This falls under his executive order titled Protecting the American People Against Invasion. Someone said birthright citizenship was a planned move to keep Dems too busy to stop everything else. I mean, it is a lot. It's a lot to take in, all this stuff. So, yeah. I mean, try to put out fires. I mean, I can see why Dems would try to put out the biggest fire. You know, it would just let. It does unsuccessfully, though. Ugh. An America First foreign policy approach. And the establishing of DOGE. D.O.G.E, the Department of Governmental Efficiency. Since it's going to be so easily challenged in court, it very will be. You know what? You know what else is being challenged in court? The man himself. Yeah. All them charges they got on his ass. Yeah, he's still guilty. We still. Yeah. But that's a thing for another day. We can't touch him right now because he's the president. But hell, yeah, we get into some dark territory here, like the executive order to end DEI programs and the executive order to define gender and roll back transgender protections. This was under his executive order titled, get this, Defending Women from Gender Ideology Extremism and Restoring Biological Truth to the Federal Government. Yeah, that's absolutely wild. We ended up here indeed. The man, this falls under the thing of the government thinks you're stupid because this, the fact that this order exists would have you believe that this is being done to protect women. Like, it's trying to convince people that rolling back protections for transgender individuals and, putting forth this executive order, quote unquote, defending women from gender ideology extremism and restoring, quote unquote, biological truth is to protect women. I'm telling you here and now, they don't give a fuck about women. This has nothing to do with women. If, if they really gave a fuck, they would have done something to protect women and shield women in such a way that it doesn't fucking demonize trans people. This isn't about women. This is about. Some comments in this live were filtered to protect the community's experience. What did you say? Well, that's very interesting. What could you have said? Oh, we shall find out later. Hey, you want to come up? I mean, whatever. Go in here. You want to come up, communicate a bit more effectively? Hold up. Oh, feel free to come on up here. By all means, feel free to come on up and we'll get this proper discussion going.
Yeah, maybe I won't have to worry so much about the words getting filtered. Filtered out, but I think that it. Gosh, there was a long TikTok that someone just sat down and we were just talking, and they went to a good length talking about how a big root of this and stuff like that executive order is kind of they show their ass on it a bit by the fact that it only focuses on trans women, and that at the end of the day, it's because trans women are a threat to patriarchy and the kind of inherent imagined order of man above woman, man cannot act like woman, blah 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 blah. You know, because they see all trans women as just men pretending to be women. That's why they're so focused on doing everything they can to attack that community.
Absolutely. That is 100% the thing, because they 100%, they try to frame this as we're doing this to protect women. We aren't getting anything out of this. We are doing this for y'all. We're trying to save you from all the bad people out there who come into your private spaces and mean to do you harm. And it just so happens that those people happen to be people that we've been trying to go at for a very long time. And it's simply not true. There's nothing,
Yeah, because I
true in
mean,
this.
what does the trans community want more than no one to impersonate them and then do harm? I mean, they would want that more than anybody. They don't want any bad people trying to claim their name and, put that kind of association there.
Yeah. On the White House website, whitehouse.gov, like it goes into under presidential actions, like I'm reading through all these executive orders, I got all this information. Yeah. It says the purpose of this is that across the country, ideologies who deny the biological reality of sex have increasingly used legal and other socially coercive means to permit men to self-identify as women and gain access to intimate single-sex spaces designed for women. It's like, there's nothing in here about trans men. It specifically hones in on trans women, and it goes on to talk about, you were saying?
Yeah, not to mention there is a pervasive kind of narrative that is injected into the whole executive order, which seeks to establish the idea that, I'm going to use air quotes you can't see, but trans ideology puts forward that gender is a replacement for sex, and that sex as a reality of biology should be denied according to that ideology, quote unquote again. And it's just false, because, the whole definitions that allow people to identify themselves as transgender come from understanding that there's a difference between how your gender developed and how your sex did. And it's just, I don't know the exact end goal of it, but I think it's just because science is not on their side, they have to somehow convince enough people that science is on their side somehow. Because if we can't have that angle, then they have one more angle that, kind of tears down our narrative of, what we believe to be the truth and what we're following as the scientific and medical consensus. And then they need to try to flip that on its head to kind of break down any trust in where people are coming from and how they really are trying to speak their truth.
Yeah, it really, it's all over this place. Just the very negative connotations associated behind this, and just the clear intent to just demonize trans people and what they believe. And it very much, not just trans people, but those who believe that there is more than one gender, because more than two genders, because in this it states that the administration will defend women's rights, protect freedom of conscience by using policies that recognize that women are biologically female and men are biologically male. As has been stated, you and I have witnessed on different lives, that term biological, that biological male, that don't mean shit. If you actually break down what biological means, it doesn't mean what most people think it does. It says here that it's also the policy of the U.S. to recognize two sexes, male and female. These sexes are not changeable and are grounded in fundamental and incontrovertible, I think that's misspelled, reality.
Incontrovertible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't spell that right, but okay.
They're basically just trying to say that you can't call something a sex reassignment surgery, or SMEX, reassignment surgery, that you can't, you can't claim to change your SMECs on documents or anything like that, even if you are hormonally, phenotypically, neurologically, in one category. If you didn't have that label on your birth certificate or whatever, that you just can't do that. They're basically just trying to make it so that you cannot, even if you understand the advanced biology of it all, you just cannot ever try to make yourself represented by anything besides what a doctor observed at birth.
Yeah. It's very much this idea that it's either box A or box B. Nothing in between, nothing outside of that. You can't say neither, you can't say both. You gotta be one or the other. And it's not even a case of you get to choose one or the other. Now it's a case of you are one or the other based on what you were assigned at birth. And that's it. That's all there'll ever be. It's just...
And there's also the issue of what this does. I mean, it hasn't been stated clearly, but there's already the implications that it's going to cause trouble for intersex people, which is just awful because, I mean, those are things that are happening outside of brain development, things that, are observable. And it's just wild to me that he would make these moves that could affect up to 1.7% of the population. I mean, he's already targeting groups bigger and smaller than that, but in this specific situation, it is wild to me that you can even see it in the list, in that executive order specifically, you can see in the list that there were certain things that they were going to pull back or rescind on. It's like kind of farther down in the executive order, and one of them is just straight up about education on intersex people. Like, they're just, but let's just get rid of that. Even though it's, up to and possibly exceeding 1.7% of the population, because most people don't get karyotyped. But yeah, it's just crazy.
Section 7, under I think it's Article C, talks about how the each agency, in regards to implementation of this executive order, will rescind all documents inconsistent with the requirements of this order, and rescind such parts of such documents that are inconsistent in such manner. So it's anything that doesn't go along with what we want to say, it shall remove all statements, policies, regulations, and communications that promote or otherwise inculcate gender ideology, and shall cease issuing statements, policies, and other messages that have to do with that. So it's very much a case of, it is what we say it is, and anything that tries to say otherwise, we're taking that shit down. But yeah, they even go into definitions of this shit. Somebody, each agency will give the terms sex, male, female, men, women, boys, and girls, the meanings set forth in Section 2 of this order, and that's all it is. It's just those definitions. It's it's very...
Those definitions are insufficient.
Yeah.
To begin with. I mean, not to mention the part where they tried to use this, which is big folly to me. I don't see why they chose this section, but they chose this section to try to slip in some kind of in-law life begins at conception type angle, which doesn't work for sexual development and sexual development at all, because of the fact that, there's the fetus is basically kind of a not neo, I'm trying to think of the word for it, but it's like a pseudo female for the first 4, 5, 6 weeks,
and then the
until actual proper development begins. So what even are they trying to do here? They're trying to make definitions the law that not a single biologist would even agree on.
Yeah, it goes again. It's basically saying the science will back me up. That's what's happening. The science is gonna back up what I have to say, and then when the science doesn't, it actively contradicts what they have to say, and they're like, well, the science is wrong. It is what I say it is. But that's clearly not the thing. And the idea that they're trying to sell this, the way they're actually pitching this very anti-trans executive order is to say, oh no, this is to protect women. We're doing this to protect. They don't say cis women because, heaven forbid, in their eyes, that word is a slur now, or cis just isn't a thing. But it's like, yeah, we're going to demonize, we are going to shun, we are going to actively make life hard for trans women in just to protect cis women, even though in doing this, you're not protecting anybody from jack shit.
What it's doing is it's setting up more avenues by which you can illegalize something like the trans existence, and apparently even the intersex existence. That's just still throwing me for a loop. But you're legalizing that existence in as many ways as possible, and this isn't the end of it. This is the beginning of it. It's the foot in the door. It's the stepping stone. It's basically the first big step on the path towards finding ways to imprison and get slave labor out of anyone they don't like, or anyone they don't agree with, or even anyone who's just an easy target because they're a rare community that's not that the average person isn't gonna, understand or interact with on a daily basis.
Yeah. If you can put a law into effect as easily, even an executive order into effect, as easily as, the commander in Cheetos over there has, that just cuts off, it just straight up annexes an entire part of the society, not just society, but like an entire chunk of the LGBT community. Several letters, in fact, are being affected by this. If you can do that as easily as he has, then there's no telling what you can do in regards to like other minorities. And they're trying. There are other executive orders in here that target, immigrants, as he calls them, illegal aliens, and just Latin groups. I think it's what's the word? Hispanic. I don't think it's Latin. I think it's Latinx, but I don't know anymore. But yeah, there's more. It doesn't just stop at people in the trans community, but yeah, you're right. There's definitely, it's the beginning of something ugly. And the idea that
I've heard just as many people hate saying Latinx as people who don't. So it's really a toss-up for me, but I will say that my, Latino or Hispanic friends who don't like it really, really, really hate it. So I just don't use it unless someone specifically asked me to. But that being put aside, I really do worry for these people in these groups, and my hope is that the bureaucracy of the system we're currently living in will cause enough dysfunction to limit the suffering that could be caused. Because Cheeto Man's first term was limited by his blunder, basically. But he's kind of had time to think that through, sort that out, rework the aides, rework who's on his side, and, kind of make a plan to be more effective for a second term. But I'm still hoping that because our dysfunctional, stupid system as it is, with so many people having to sign so many different papers to get anything done in this world, I'm hoping that will still be enough of a stopgap to kind of limit the suffering it can cause.
And this notion that, and it's going to cause suffering for a lot of people, specifically those in the middle class, because like the lower class has been getting fucked for a while, but now those in the middle class are definitely going to start feeling it, especially when it comes like economically wise. Like he said, like, oh yeah, I'm a lower the price of like food or what the fuck ever, and we're gonna be economically strong because drill baby drill and all that shit. But yeah, that's not gonna happen overnight. That's going to take a while. All the stuff you're promising and all the stuff you're actively setting forth to do is gonna cost time and money. And where are you going to get this money from? It's going to come from these people. It's not going to come from your billionaire buddies. It's going to come from the average person paying taxes. And yeah, they're going to have to eat shit for a while before things get how he promises they're going to get. And, they're going to, sit there and think to themselves, it's going to be okay. Oh, it's going to be all right. It's all worth it. No matter how bad it is, it's going to be all right. Because old Agent Orange in the White House is my friend. He's doing this for me. He's doing me a favor by jacking up prices. He's doing me a favor by installing all these wells, deporting all these people, and just demonizing a community. He's doing me a favor. This is all a good thing, and it's being done on my behalf. So it's going to work out just fine, and it's going to be hell to pay when it don't. I'll say this much. When 4 years come up and people click that, wait a minute, shit has gotten worse, or worse, nothing has changed, there's going to be hell to pay.
Yeah, if he's even capable of, delivering on those promises of better economic livelihood, it's not going to happen in the first 2 years, and according to what he's already doing and said he's going to do, it's going to be so bad in the first 2 years that I don't think people are going to forget about it.
Yeah. It's wild. It's wild what I've heard from people. Yes, certainly. Yeah, that is just, it's this bullshit. It's this thing of just people be thinking it's gonna turn out fine in the end. This is all gonna work out. You don't know that for sure. There's no inkling to insinuate that that's gonna be the case. How dare I attempt to build my own business while also using government assistance? Yeah. So the the so-called Department of Governmental Efficiency is going to try to find some way to fuck people over who are on welfare. Because it's already, it's clear that they're going after veterans in that kind of way. So it's it's the thing about the damn government. It falls into the topic. The government thinks you're stupid because they will gladly put veterans front and center and call them heroes and thank you for your service and talk about their sacrifice when it's Veterans Day or Patriots Day or whatever. But them other 360 days of the year may as well not exist. Sorry. Oh, you have PTSD? I'm sure there's help for that, but we can't help you.
That reminds me of a comic that I've seen where it's, black and white guy in a suit and tie, and he's just leave the kids alone. And then there's this little tiny, stick guy next to him, and obviously meant to be a kid. And it's I'm hungry. And he says, fuck off. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's kind of like that. They do that with veterans. They're oh, our veterans are so lovely. And then so they're hey, our programs aren't great. Can you fix them? And they're no.
Yeah,
End of story.
Yeah, what are you asking me for? What can I do? It's just so weird. The just thing of it all. But yeah.
I gotta hop back down to comments.
Oh, that's cool. Thank you for coming.
I liked being able to come up when I could. Thank you.
Oh yeah. Thank you for coming in. So that falls in, folks. The government thinks you're stupid. It's just that thing of they'll gladly promise you the world when it's time for a re-election, but when it comes down to it, when it comes down to, okay, now I'm actually in charge. Now I actually, have the ability to do something about any of the problems we might have. It's oh, you thought I was gonna do shit? No, man. I'm looking out for my own interest and the interests of my friends. I don't actually give a fuck about you. You actually think I'm your buddy? What, I'm gonna sit down and have a beer with you? Get the out of here. What do you think this is? I don't understand this. I don't understand how people can think that a dude who, with fucking millions in the bank and billions invested elsewhere and just so much money, so much power, so many shady things that has done in the past, is looking out for them. Oh yeah, I'm your friend. I'm definitely gonna do everything I do to benefit you somehow. I'm not gonna line my own pocket. I'm such a good guy that I need to put in little clauses at the end of all of my directives and freaking points and political, orders and laws and shit that say Oh yeah. We're not benefiting from this in any way. It's very sus that you felt the need to say that, man. Like you felt the need to say, "Oh, by the way, we're not getting anything out of this. We're just helping you. Trust us. You know, hey, trust your old Uncle Trumpy. We'll be okay." Fuck that, man. It doesn't help that. Wait a minute. Yeah, the artist Emerald Mine inheritings. Yeah, huh? Yep, that just from the subtle to the obvious. That shit right there. That shit right there. Like, this is the thing. When he said, see, the thing about Musk, when he's seemingly on their side, they forget he's South African. They forget all that. They kindly forget the part that he's not actually an American. They forget that. And yet, when he said, they don't even mention it when they talk about him in articles, when they mention him on the news, they don't mention that he's South African. But that time he basically said that Americans aren't smart enough to do the jobs that we need for them to do, said that American education is terrible. The news and all those pundits, all those articles were quick to remember that, oh yes, he's South African. Now they're saying South African billionaire Elon Musk, South African inventor Elon Musk says this. Oh, now he's South African. When he's seemingly making billions, when he bought out that truck, when he's buddy with Agent Orange, he's not South African. But when he's fucking up, now all of a sudden you remember that he's not an American. What a fucking coincidence. How convenient for you. But yeah. Technically he is the most American person out there because he's a dude from a foreign land who came to a land that isn't his and acted like he owned the place and got rich while doing it. So technically that's American as fuck if you think about it. Renamed by its new MLK name. Oh yeah, that. Oh, I'm gonna get to that. The Gulf of America. Oh, I'm gonna get to that soon enough. Yeah. They sus as hell from the subtle to the obvious. Yep. You can't say dude is smart enough to run a multi-billion-dollar company, but not smart enough to know that what he did was fascist as hell. He knows exactly what he did. Because when people were making jokes about it, he was laughing along. When they were making memes, he was reacting. When they were reacting, he reacted to their reactions. At no point since he did he release a statement condemning what he did, or apologizing, or trying to explain, or any of that. He's just been blissfully ignorant. But yeah, the Gulf of America. Oh, yes. Wanted to talk about that. The government. The Gulf of America. That the Gulf of America. I remember hearing something about like they're trying to buy what's this, Alaska? Oh, they're trying to buy Alaska. That made me laugh. And like they wanted to rename the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. I was so confused. Like, why, man? Why? Wait a minute. Something about the Panama Canal was in there too. Yeah, they wanted the Panama Canal, the Gulf of Mexico, Alaska, Canada. Like, I think there was something about Greenland. It's the Gulf of America now. Like, that's quick. Like, it's very strange that you won't acknowledge the new name, the MLK name, but you were very quick to acknowledge the Gulf of America. So just, he's trying to buy Greenland. Yes. Trying to buy Greenland. It's just so, ugh. The bizarreness of it all. Can you even do that? How does America have debt up to its eyeballs, but apparently has enough money to try and buy Greenland? Like, strange, very strange. Just, oh, it's right up there with their weird priorities. But yeah, where was this thing? I saw this right here. Yeah, saw it right here. It was here somewhere, but yeah. There's another presidential action, executive order from January 20, restoring names that honor American greatness. Well, this one talks about it is in the national interest to promote extraordinary heritage of our nation. Yeah, regard to national treasures, including breathtaking wonders and yada yada yada. The Secretary of the Interior shall review and consider additional appointments to the board to assist in fulfilling all aspects of this order. Basically, it's not like he has a list of things that he wants to rename and a list of names. He's basically saying that, yeah, we're going to rename some things. We don't have an idea what we're going to rename or what even we're going to rename them to. We still need to figure that out, but rest assured, there will be some renamings. That's what all these orders are. It's like, we don't have a plan right now. We have a concept of a plan. That's the only account of things that were great in this country. Yeah. Yeah. It's very, very bizarre. Just so damn strange. Uh, the area formerly known as the Gulf of Mexico has long been an integral asset to our burgeoning nation. Yes, 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 yes. This is it. Multiple geography of its basin. Gulf is also a favorite destination for tourism and the maritime industry, and is basically outlining, yes, that's why it is now called the Gulf of America, because money, that's why. At the end of the day, that's mostly what all this is about, money. It's what they be focusing on, like the Gulf of Mexico. Yes, that's right, I'm calling it the Gulf of Mexico because they haven't officially done anything yet. The Gulf of Mexico, a lot of money comes in and out of there, and the U.S. wants in on it because they feel like they're entitled to it. And it's kind of messed up that it's called the Gulf of Mexico. So they're like, okay, it is now the Gulf of America. Mexican people be like, excuse me? Same thing with like Greenland, like, yeah, we're going to buy Greenland and get all those resources. People in Greenland were like, excuse me? Canada, they were like, oh, we're going to make Canada the 51st state. The Canadians were like, I don't think you are. With all due respect, that's not happening. Because they be calm and cool and respectful and shit. Because, yeah, it's the unfortunate nature of things. I don't think you can do that. I don't think you can make an entire country a state. It's too big. There's too much going on. Because, yeah, the idea that doing this is going to be somehow a good thing for the American people and make life easier in some way or another, because apparently there's a huge amount of debt and life is really hard. So you know what the government's going to do? The government is going to spend more money. Yeah, we're going to spend more money to try to make y'all lives easier, to try and bring you to like make things simpler. We're going to buy Canada, we're going to buy Greenland, and we're going to make the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America because, yeah, we're doing it for you guys. We're not benefiting at all. You know, our pockets are empty. Sure. And we're going to be drilling. We're going to cut back on electric cars. We're going to, fuck up the education system. Take out all that woke shit. Take out all that DEI. All that shit's going to come out of there. Why? For you. We're doing it all for you. Yeah, we heroes. Yeah, where the capes at? God damn. Oh yeah, and we're going to establish a Department of Governmental Efficiency to... Here's what the official WhiteHouse.gov says on Doge. It says, establish the Department of Government Efficiency to implement the president's Doge agenda by modernizing the federal technology and software to maximize government efficiency and productivity. Okay. That makes sense. I don't get it, but hey, that's what they be doing. They're gonna make things more efficient by reorganization and renaming of the United States Digital Service and establishment of a temporary organization, whatever that means. Another presidential order protecting the U.S. from foreign terrorists and other national security and public safety threats. It needs to be vigilant. The U.S. needs to be vigilant during the visa assurance process to ensure those aliens proof for admission do not intend to harm Americans or national interests. Buddy, I hate to break this to you, but like, you'd have to be really stupid to think that this is being done to help you. It's a case that they've been trying to do for years. They've been footing the bill. Whenever something goes wrong, they say like it has to do with those immigrants. It has to do with people jumping the border. It has to do with them, illegal aliens. It's all them. They're the ones bringing illicit substances into the country. They're the ones bringing violence. They're the ones bringing terror attacks. It's all them. If we clamp down on them, all that's going to stop. Yeah, all the illicit substances are going to stop. All crime is going to go down if we just clamp down on that border. Yeah. Never mind that the guy in charge of Doge is also an immigrant, and if we were true to our words, his ass would also be deported. But he's not because he's my friend. Never mind all that. Never mind that, people are getting special exemptions because they're rich and they're kissing my ass all day. Never mind that. That's not happening. That's not, it isn't, that is not what's happening. Pay no attention to the bullshit behind the curtain. Those of you who've seen Wizard of Oz know that. Yes, folks, I am well read, I am well informed, and I am exceedingly funny. Though this is no laughing matter. This would be a laughing matter if it wasn't so dumb. Just, ugh. But anyway. If this executive order was a thing back in 95, Elon Musk wouldn't be here now. I'll tell you this much. He wouldn't be here now. So many of these motherfuckers wouldn't be here now. If this freaking executive order was passed when this country was founded, old Trumpy wouldn't be here now. Shit, people forget that his family ain't from here either. Melania's family wouldn't be... Hell, if these motherfuckers were true to their words and everything they say, Melania's family would be in jail. Or were deported. Hell, if they were true to everything they say and they hold everybody to the standards that they expect everybody to be held, they would be in jail. Most of those billionaires who fill that room would be on trial for something. A lot of them are. There's all those antitrust cases and everything. It's really unfortunate, but hey. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? They don't want you thinking that. And they think you don't know that. They don't think that you would think that way because, let's face it, folks, the government thinks you're stupid. Of course they do. Think you're too stupid to read the fine print on the shit that they're passing. They think you're too stupid to understand that they're not really your friends and that they're actually fucking you over once this 4 years comes to an end, that they think that you're under the impression that they're your buddies, when in reality they're gonna skip away with bags full of cash and, well, that'll be the end of it. You want help? You want help for the veterans? You're not going to get it. Want help for people who are on welfare? You're not going to get it. You want help? You want to actually help women? Sorry, pal. That's not what we do here. There's nothing to be gained from this. Why? Because it's the right thing. If there's no money to be made in something, they ain't going to do it. All this stuff that's in these executive orders, such as, taking away foreign aid or quote-unquote defending women from gender ideology extremism, or removing barriers to American leadership in regards to AI, or restoring names that honor greatness. It's either something that they personally want, just to make themselves feel better. It has nothing to do with the majority. Or it's lining their pocket, or it's lining the pockets of an associate of theirs, who is in turn lining their pocket. Or, it's just something to make people's lives miserable, because those people didn't vote for them. They've been saying for years, MAGA, make America great again. I find it concerning that they've dropped that. A lot of people have really adopted that as their way of life. People be wearing those hats, waving those flags. Some have gotten tattoos. That's a mistake. I can say that's a mistake because they don't really do that anymore. They don't even say make America great again. They're saying make America safe again. Yes, that's what it is now. The slogan has changed. Are you going to go back and alter your tattoo and be like, excuse me, man, can you make this G an S? Dumbass. Anyway, in regards to, this falls under the Trump-Vance administration priorities section from the whitehouse.gov page. It says, under Make America Safe Again, their president will take bold action to secure the border and protect American communities. What American communities exactly? Huh? Which communities, huh? It doesn't say. I believe you know why. This includes ending the catch and release policies implemented by President Biden, cracking down on criminal sanctuaries and enhanced vetting on aliens. The deportation operation will address the record border crossings of criminal aliens, and he will suspend refugee settlements after communities were forced to house large and unsustainable populations of migrants, straining community safety and resources. The armed forces, including the National Guard, will engage in border security, which is national security, and will be deployed to the border to assist existing law enforcement personnel. I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure that there's some kind of law or ruling that prevents you from deploying army troops on U.S. soil. I don't think you can do that unless you're in like a state of emergency or we're under threat from some invading force. And that's where it comes in, where he's labeling, immigrants and such, and, those in the Latin community as, well, like most notably cartel members as a terror threat, and saying, like, we need to get on that. I think that why he did that was so he could do this. So he could put the armed forces and the National Guard on the border and just do that fuck shit that he been wanting to do. Because he really loves that wall. He really, really loves that fucking wall. I think he wants to marry that wall. Like, shit. He's always talking about how great his wall is, how tall it is, how deep it goes. I'm like, man, are you fucking that wall? What are you doing? Why are you going over this damn wall so much? But anyway. Hot damn. Well, notice, yeah, he was more than happy. You veterans, not veterans, you people in the armed forces who are under the impression that this administration has any kind of respect for you or thinks of you in any positive way. It doesn't. The only time they're mentioned is when it's basically saying that, yes, you are going to be our muscle and you are going to go after migrants and people trying to get into the country and all that. That's basically what it's saying. So that's that. Hello? Who's this? But it does mention cops. I'll tell you that much. It does mention cops in this shit. It 100% does mention the police. It talks about how. Hold on a sec. Oh, it does mention the police in the sense that those who take out law enforcement officers will be given the. I don't know if I can say this word, so I'm just going to say flatline penalty in prison. Immediate flatline penalty if you unalive a cop. So it is what it is. I fully believe this statement that the government believes you're stupid because, yeah, they do. The government thinks you're stupid. There's so much evidence that falls into this in regards to the executive orders that have been made, the statements that have been made, the promises that have been made, the promises that have just been not kept, shows more than anything that the U.S. government thinks U.S. citizens are fucking stupid. You disagree? Oh, come on up. Say your piece. If you agree, then hey, you know, if you agree, like, come on up. You disagree, come on up by all means. Because, yeah, it's can't put your head in the sand and then say that's not the case. If you have a statement you'd like to make trying to disprove this as the case, by all means, come on up and make it. If you agree with the point, come up anyway. Stay why. Let's get a dialogue going. But this is very true, as much as it can be, because the government, most notably Musk and, the Agent Orange sitting in the big chair in the big White House, think the people that voted them into power are stupid. It's the sad, sad case of it all. But yeah.
Ready, go!
They want you to think that they're your friend. They're doing it all for you. They're going to help you. They're going to be right. I love how he admitted it was rigged on 4K and nothing's been done. Yeah, it's this classic politician tactic of like, get elected, get elected, get elected. Say whatever you need to get yourself elected. Promise whatever you need. Get the people going. Make them want to vote for you. And now that you have the job, that's going to take some time. That can't happen immediately. All the stuff I promised, that's going to take time to do. I can't really do all of it, but I'm gonna try. I'll do it. Like straight said ballots machines were the reason it was rigged, and they'll never have to vote again. Yeah, I distinctly remember old Agent Orange was like, oh yeah, he was under the belief that if he lost, it's rigged. If he wins, that means it's true. I'm like, that's not how that works. Wouldn't it? Like, what the hell? So if he wins, then it must be a true and fair election, but if he loses, that means that the election was rigged. Because, yeah, that's the only outcome that can happen in an election, right? There's no possible way that people could vote for anyone but you. Like, I. People believe that. He said that because he knew people would believe it. And they did. A lot of them did. So many things have been said and done. The craziest, wildest things have been said and done with the knowledge that I can say anything and people will believe it. They've been rigged to a point for a long time. Yeah. Yeah, they have. They certainly have. It's definitely a situation like the system is rigged. That's the idea that if you work hard, keep your head down, do the right thing, and just, outwork the other guy, always do the right thing, and you'll get to the top just as good as anyone else. It's like a man is entitled to the sweat of his brow, that kind of shit. Your hard work and perseverance, in time, you too can be a millionaire. You too can wear shiny suits, and maybe, just maybe, one day, you too can be the president. I'm sorry, but that's bullshit. That hasn't happened in literal decades. It's a world of favors, it's a world of money and influence and all that. And the belief that it isn't, like, that's just, and people trying to convince you that it isn't, that's just them thinking, like, yeah, they're just trying to make you look stupid. You believe that doing the right thing and being honest and all this is going to get you to the win. It's going to help you succeed in life. That's not a good thing. I feel they've been rigged up, especially with the whole electoral college can just override a decision. Yep. Democracy, folks. Democracy at play. Oh, heaven's sake, man. Democracy, capitalism, whatever you want to call it. I used to be under the. I remember that. Yeah, it has me thinking. Like, I remember back in time when they were calling everybody Marxist. Like whenever there was someone they didn't like, they'd be like, there, what are you, some kind of Marxist? What are you, a communist? Like, what are you, huh? You one of those woke people? Like, okay, clear the air, folks. No one says woke anymore. That's not a thing. People only use woke as a dog whistle. People only use woke as an insult, and they're using it wrong, by the way. No one says woke. The idea that like you'd have to be really stupid to just call somebody woke nowadays and think that you did something. Like, no, just no. No one says that anymore. People haven't been woke in a very, very long time. The world has changed, but apparently the people in charge want to keep it a certain way. They want things to stay the way the way they were when they were coming up. When they were coming up, and in their eyes, when things were in the quote unquote golden age, or the great time, or times when things were great, there were only two genders. Migrants coming into the country weren't that big a deal, and most people in positions of power look like them, and that's the stuff they want. They want that things to go back to the way they were. Yeah, that's why they're working so hard to take down diversity, DEI. They're trying to take out DEI. They're trying to take down more open education in schools. That's why they're working so hard to mess with education so that people down the line believe what they believe instead of just the people now. Because it's not going to do you much good to put in all these rules and laws and shit that make people believe what you believe. If a couple years from now someone's going to come up and undo all that because they were taught different at a young age. So yeah, it's playing the long game, and it's playing it in a very sinister manner, and this is not done for anybody's benefit but their own. And them trying to tell you otherwise inherently implies, yep, they think you're dumb. Because they think that you can't see through this shit. They think they're slick about it. They're not. It's becoming very obvious now because they don't care. They generally do. I generally believe they don't care anymore. It's a thing of like, well, you. It's like we don't have to hide anymore. We don't have to be subtle. We can just be loud. We can be dumb and do all that, and these people will not go away. We have supporters for life, is what we have. So people will believe anything, which is partially one of the. It raises questions on this one executive order about AI. Why do you care so much about AI? Why do you, want to remove barriers to, in regards to artificial intelligence? What do people use AI for? Like to, make things that look real and beautiful imagery and art and music and whatnot. Yeah, but what else? You know what else you can use it for? You can use it to make fake news. Yeah, why do you want to control TikTok? To control the spread of information. Why else? They don't want us talking to each other. They don't, want an app that isn't heavily monitored by them or at the very least owned or controlled by them to have any method of prominence with American citizens, so they try to shit can it as hard as they could. They have no problem with Facebook and Instagram and Twitter being out here because hey, those are American companies. They get money from that shit. They control most of that shit, so that's cool. But this TikTok thing owned by ByteDance and all that, well, that can't stand. We don't control that in any way. We can't influence that in any way, so it's gotta go. Yes, absolutely. Removed an order that was meant to limit irresponsible use of AI. Yes, he wants to use AI irresponsibly. That is the clear, obvious route for why someone in that position would do that. I don't think they understand that that means AI can be used against them as well. But hey, it will be interesting to see. It's going to be a total shit show once you take off the guardrails on AI and people are allowed to go buck wild with it. People are going to do horrendous things. People were doing lurid and disturbing things with those guardrails on. You remember all those Taylor Swift AIs with there was this very disturbing things going on at football games and whatnot, and all the just frankly strange AIs that have come out before that and since then. Yeah. Now imagine that, but with no safeties. Just imagine crystal clear, very accurate AI showing something very absurd happening. Like, I don't know, let's show an AI of old Agent Orange rushing out of a burning building with babies in hand during the California fires or some shit like that. Yes, people actually believe there are animals made out of tar with like 9 limbs. I remember I saw this old lady who was showing a picture of an AI butterfly. It was blue, it was pink, and it had these pearlescent eyes. And she thought it was real. Like, I can clearly see. I mean, like, I get it. Like, the older generation aren't, like, fully aware of some of the perils of AI and how real some of this shit looks, but it's like, come on. No. Ugh. Yeah. That sounds, yes, very, very disturbing. Ooh, quite. That sounds very disturbing. Like just hairless cat covered in tar. Like I don't think they realize by taking off these guardrails, people can use AI against them to make them look like they're doing seedy shit. Like I don't know. Like it just. I can't even think of anything sordid right now because like my head's not in that space. Like I'm not that kind of guy. But damn, if people can use AI to make Taylor Swift look like she's getting grabbed on by 100 hands with no clothes on at a football game, or fucking Travis Kelce in the background, then they can make AI do just about anything. Shit. You gonna turn on Fox News one day and discover we've recently acquired footage of a local, I don't know, a six-way between like this congressman, this senator, and the commander-in-chief, not to mention several, I don't know, members of the Republican Party in there too. And you can say it's fake all you want, but you took the safeties off AI, so we can't know for sure. But we don't know. People do fucked up things without all these safety rails and safety in place. So what are they going to do now that they're gone? Very strange. The world is. The government thinks you're stupid. That's the government thinks its citizens aren't smart enough to see what's happening right in front of them, even when something right in front of them is a fucking Yahtzee salute. The government thinks it's not smart, its citizens aren't smart enough to see what's happening right in front of them, even when what's right in front of them is just actively going to make life harder for people than it is going to make life easier. The D.O.G.E, like, oh yeah, we're gonna cut money from this and we're gonna allocate it elsewhere. And it's like, most of the things you're propositioning to cut money from already don't have that much money. In fact, they were asking for more money before you showed up, because they could barely run on the little money they had, saying like, yeah, we're gonna cut money from this and we're gonna reallocate it elsewhere. What do you mean cut money? Aren't you a billionaire? Why don't you contribute some money? Instead of stashing that money in your safe and doing the fucking Scrooge McDuck dive every week, why don't you shave off a couple zeros and help the fucking government that you're the head of government efficiency on? Do your damn job. I know you only had it for like a week or something, but goddamn, man, you kind of suck at it. It's been a shitty week. I'm not seeing much efficiency here, man. Shit. The thing about we are gonna make life harder for one set of the government thinks that people are stupid and can't tell that they're actively gonna make life harder for one set of people under the illusion of improving life for everyone else. But really, it's just making life hard to make life hard. It's making people miserable because these people do not align with the way I see the world. It's that's the shit it is. Not the way I see the world doesn't align with how the world is. No. How the world is does not align with how I see the world, and how I see the world is the only way. That's basically what that fucking executive order on gender ideology and the quote-unquote biological truth has to do with anything. That's what it has to do. It's disheartening to talk about this, like to see all the things that are happening. To see that the people in charge think the people below them are fucking idiots, and then to see the people below these people actually be fucking idiots. It's just, I'm not saying everyone is dumb. Not everybody is dumb. There are some smart people on that side. They see what's going on. And the sad part is, they're for it. They're all for it. Because a lot of the people who see what's going on and are all for it are also the people who are benefiting from this stuff. Those are the people who want these sort of things to happen. It's unfortunate. It's just, yeah, it's a travesty in and of itself. There's these thing that, hold on, let me get. If all of Trump's avid supporters and his, fucking donators and contributors and like fucking, what's this? If his biggest fucking fans are out in the cold and the only people he's indoors with are fucking billionaires and people who, lest we forget, less than a year ago were actively against him, but have since changed their tunes and started kissing his ass because it's like, well, he's not going anywhere for the next 4 years, and if I don't kiss his ass, he's going to make my life miserable. If it's all those people on the inside and all supporters on the outside, what does that say about what he actually thinks about his fucking so-called supporters? He doesn't give a fuck. And the fact that I don't say you, I don't mean you as in you specifically, and the fact that they themselves can't see this, it shows that, these people think the people are stupid, and the people are stupid. If you can't see that obvious red flag. How many inaugurations have been outside? A lot. How many inaugurations have been inside? Not that many. So, just, yeah. But still, though, it's just, it's a sign of things to come. More than anything, it's a sign of things to come. This song, everybody knows, has this lyric. Everybody knows the vote was fixed. The poor stay poor, the rich get rich. And that's the truth. That's the truth of the matter. That's what happened here. That's all that it is. The poor stay poor and the rich get rich. The rich don't stay rich. They get rich. That's all it's going to be. Like, the people who had a ton of money are going to make more money. And they do that by tricking everyone else into thinking that, hey, you too are going to make money from this. In reality, you're not. But the fact that you think you do is really going to help line my pocket. And in the end, when you show up, hat in hand, going, hey, I'd kindly like what I was promised. I'd kindly like the thing I voted for. Sorry. You know, like, my pockets are empty. I got nothing for you. You know, I got what I wanted. I can go right off into the sunset now. I can retire to Mar-a-Lago or ship off back to SA or whatever. But, you know, if you think that these billionaires are all crowded together in their secret little clubhouse and coming up with all their little schemes to think up the best way to benefit Joe Citizen on the street, if you think that's what's happening, you are stupid. This is taking a negative turn. I didn't want this. I really don't want this. It's a thing that I just felt the need to, not the need, that's a strong word. It felt like it had to be said. Because, yeah, this is see-through. Sometimes it takes someone on the outside to point out, like, hey, you know, like, this is not normal. It's that thing of, like, the frog in the water, you know, like, the fucking frog who sits in water that slowly starts to boil isn't going to do anything because he's used to it. But it's the frog on the outside looking in that touches the water and go like, wait a minute, this shit's hot. Why are you just sitting here? Like, get out. You're cooking to death. Like, sometimes we need that other frog. I know that's not in the analogy. I've added that, but this analogy works better. Like, you know, we need that outside force, aka the people who aren't falling for this shit, to look at it and say, hey, you're being conned. You know, the water is fucking hot, and you think that this is normal. No, it's not supposed to be this way. The government is supposed to serve its people, not its own interests. And I don't like talking about politics. Despite the fact that I've had a lot to say, I really don't like talking about politics. I'm a firm believer in, you know, friends who want to stay friends don't discuss war, politics, or religion. But this was just something that just got so big and is becoming so obvious, so blatant, that it's like, I can't not say something about this. It would be irresponsible to not say anything about this. To sit there and put my head in the sand and act like this isn't happening. It's happening to people that I'm concerned about. It's happening in a place that has a serious impact on the rest of the world. So to just ignore it, that'd be irresponsible. Like, just, if you see someone walking towards an open manhole and they don't see it, but you do, and then you do nothing, and then and like 5 seconds later you hear them fall into the fucking manhole, you let that happen. You're partially responsible for that happening because you could have stopped it from happening and you actively chose not to. Don't be that guy who just turns his head and keeps walking, and then when the man falls, you just continue on walking. Don't be that guy. Be a good citizen. If you have the ability to do good, then you have the obligation to do so. Not choice, responsibility. Yeah, some Uncle Ben wisdom for your ass, but that's that. Yeah. Covered a lot of things. Covered how Musk worked illegally in the U.S. after quitting school. So, yeah, the fact that he's in some governmental position that's gonna determine what is and isn't an efficient use of time and resources, when he couldn't effectively use his own time and resources as it equates to, you know, his education and fucking SpaceX and so many other things that seem to be just ineffective in their own ways. That's something we've covered. The things that old fucking the Donald Trump fucking promised in the lead up to his inauguration versus what he actually did. He promised a lot of shit. He promised to do a lot of shit on first day. He didn't do a lot of shit. He just said we're going to do a lot of shit on first day. That's what those orders are. We don't have plans. None of this shit has active plans that are implementable right now. But they each have a point in there that says 30 days from now or 90 days from now or whatever, I'm going to get, you know, a report on the progress that's been made. But I have no way to actually make any progress. Like the man himself said, I don't have a plan, I have concepts of a plan. Targeting not just this man's presidency. just everything. It all just targets not just those he deems adversaries, not just those who wouldn't vote for him. It targets everybody. Like it's deeply concerning. But yeah, keep seeing this invite thing pop up in this corner. Like, hey, if you disagree with this note that the government thinks you're stupid, if you agree, by all means, come up, say why you agree. If you disagree, come on up, say why you disagree with this. It's more than, I got no problem. But yeah, it's concerning that people can't see what's going on here. It's like the magician who, I don't know, it's like that one episode of Ben 10 with fucking Zombozo, where he would be on stage, doing his clown shit, making everybody laugh, keeping their attention diverted. Meanwhile, the circus freaks, his gang, are out in the parking lot robbing everybody blind. It's what this feels like. All these orders, and you think they'll be good for you? You think this is being done for your benefit and is going to make things better for everyone involved? The government's going to run more efficiently. The border's going to become more effective. The crime will go down. The less migrants we have, the more safe things will be. People are under that impression, if we make education less woke, the better education will become. If we remove protections for trans individuals, then it'll, increase protections for cis women. If you believe all that, then you're exactly the kind of people they're going for. The government thinks you're stupid because you are. You can't honestly believe all that when all the evidence available points to the contrary. My voice is becoming exceedingly hoarse right now. I should probably get some water, but more than anything, I want to end this on such a damn sour note. But I don't know what to say. It is what it is. The world we live in is just, the U.S. is so much. It's gonna be a long 4 years. I'm gonna say that. And I'll be here. A lot of people will be here with you. So many people watching. It's not your fault. I'll say this much. It's not your fault you're stupid. People being taken advantage of. I don't hold it against you. I have nothing against. I don't hate stupid people. It happens a lot that people get taken advantage of and treated negatively by people smarter than them. It is what it is. So, if you, it's like, I'll be here. Others on this app will be here. Those who seek to educate and inform and spread the truth on what's really going on versus what they would like to trick you into believing what's going on is going on. We'll still be here, ready to help, putting out each fire as it comes, fighting each battle as it appears when we can, however we can. For every few people who'll gladly turn their head and just let a guy fall into a manhole, don't worry. There's bound to be at least more than a couple people who'll do everything to help him out of that hole. Or, better yet, warn him about the hole before he falls in. Men are still good. We're still good out here. There's plenty of good people out here who see through this bullshit and are actually and effectively trying to fight on your behalf and do right by you. Both inside and outside the government. So yeah, that's that. That's as positively as I can try to salvage this. So, folks, the government thinks you're stupid. But the best thing you can do is show them that you're not. Call them out on their bullshit and spread the word when you see some fuck shit going down. Spread information, not misinformation. Because that's the most effective weapon you can have against these kind of individuals, against this kind of messaging. Because the sharing of information scared them more than anything. It's why they tried so hard to shitcan this app. The accessibility and ability of so many people to reach so many other people and spread the truth and spread kindness and goodness and all that on this app, and spread rhetoric that actively contradicted the bullshit that they were spewing. That's the thing that they were scared of the most. The truth. If you got the truth on your side, like we do, like the people who can see through all their bullshit, we can see through because we know what the truth is. We got the truth on our side in this. Then yeah, we can absolutely stand against these kind of people. It's absolutely something we can use to stand up to this kind of bullshit. And that's all I got to say on that. So, Wicked, thank you for always coming up. You know, I deeply enjoy our conversations. I enjoy whenever I go live that you're here and able to contribute always in a helpful and effective manner. Hero, I'm so happy you were able to join in. It's been a while, and you always bring in some insightful looks on things. Granted, in a way that this doesn't become like an echo chamber, you always bring up side of things that I previously didn't see, and it's definitely helpful to have someone here who can better articulate some of the shit that I don't necessarily have the words for. So yeah. Anyway, that's all, folks. This has been another live stream right here on your buddy, the man on the moon. Yeah. Thank you for liking the live, sharing the live. It is much appreciated as always. And yeah. Don't be stupid. Be smart. If there's something you don't know, ask somebody. Or look it up for yourself. Don't just believe the first thing you hear. Don't just believe the first article that jumps out at you. Do your research. Critical thinking is an effective tool that you can utilize to your advantage. So yeah, that's all I got to say on that. You all be sure to try and enjoy your weekends and hang in there. These 4 years are going to be rough, but as long as we work together on this and stand by each other's side and help each other through the hurdles, we should get through these just fine.
Everybody knows that I'm breaking down. Everybody knows I ain't faking now. Everybody knows my heart's vacant now. Yeah, she hates me now, I made mistakes but now I don't ever wanna be alone. I don't really ever feel at home. On my own, in the zone, that's the only way I know. Feeling low, about to blow back up. Here I won't ever let the doubt creep in. Gotta pop a couple more aspirin. I don't think I'll ever let you in. Easier to break it off best friends. I don't really understand myself. I don't really understand, need help. I don't wanna be left on the shelf. Couldn't even hear me if I yelled. It's so cold outside. I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold outside. I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold. always feel like I could break now, but I never let it take me to that place now. I won't ever let my thoughts get away now. I got better things to do, picking fate now. I just wanna be the best, call me great now. I don't know if I'm okay or insane now. I remember better days on the playground, hoping I can find my way to even when I'm feeling down. I fight, even when I don't know what is right. I'ma pick a side, and I'ma take pride. I will decide my fate, and I will never let them tell me who I am. If you try to shake me, I'll be damned. Planet on the ground is where I stand. Never give up, that was always the plan. It's so cold outside,